like this threatens the fabric of our society. It opens the door to racial profiling. It's not who is going to know that because I have an accent, that I am not undocumented. So it is very dangerous waters to move into that as a society. But also the threats to family unification, because the reality is that many undocumented individuals have U.S.-born children who are married to legal permanent residents or U.S. citizens, and so the threat continues to divide those families. So it is not, again, only against immigrants. Something like this would affect deeply U.S.-born children.
This is just a preemption case. This doesn't in any way preclude follow-on litigation that challenges these provisions as being inconsistent with some civil rights law or constitutional right. That litigation may still be on the horizon, and some of it's actually been filed already. I think the parties' briefs have mostly avoided those sort of hot-button issues and done clinical presentations of, from the government's perspective, we're the government, we need room to move here, you can't have states getting in the way. And from Arizona's perspective, we're helping, we're partners, what's wrong with what we're doing? No one has really made an issue of what's obviously lurking in the background here, which are these sort of highly charged issues. Where that comes into play is there are just an inordinate amount of friend of the court briefs that have been filed by all sorts of organizations. And you've got states weighing in for and against. You've got members of Congress weighing in for and against. You've got any number of organizations. Ours was for the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops and two other Christian organizations. NIJC was involved from the immigration perspective. On the side of Arizona, you've got all sorts of organizations I've never even heard of. You've got, one-man lawyer shops, in rural Arizona who are writing on behalf of the, Minuteman extremist organization of whoever, just to let the justices know that, immigrants really make them unhappy. And that's the level of amicus brief you're getting. This won't necessarily go down on ideological conservative liberal lines, especially because it's presented in this preemption context. You could see a world where conservative judges actually, although they might be sympathetic with what Arizona's trying to do, to solve what they see as a problem, don't want to put states out front of the government on issues like this that really could cause problems with our international community neighbors. So that might cause different splits. It's hard to know how this is going to go down.
Foreign relations challenge and the foreign relations implications of this law, I think, will be taken seriously, and they are substantial. How people are treated here by the United States when they're nationals of other countries is a serious business, and I don't think the court will want certainly every state to have a different regime.
The challenge for immigrants, but not only for immigrants, for the country in general, is what is a sensible immigration policy that can really meet the needs of the 21st century? I think that we are still operating from policies designed for 60 years ago, or older than that. Older policies, they are obsolete. We face globalization, global economics. The borders become very flexible for capital, for investments, for goods and services, and very rigid for workers. That doesn't work. We need to really figure out what are the policies that are going to maintain the competitiveness of our country and our economies, and at the same time recognize that we cannot ignore that in that new economic formula, we also need to talk about workers. At this point, we are just determined that deportation is the only solution. And so we implement the secure communities and many very harsh enforcement policies and practices that are not really healthy. We're not It's really damaging our communities, making us more unsafe. People who might collaborate with the police to investigate crime are scared of doing so. Domestic violence victims are very scared to even contact the law enforcement because of the fear of what's going to happen to their families. So as a society, we're paying the price of our inability to recognize that we are living in a different era, and our immigration policies need to reflect that reality.